Well, hello there. I am Jennifer Villamil, host of my Almost Midlife Crisis podcast. So, in season 2, episode 5, I talk about how I'm a self proclaimed independent woman. And it was interesting because when I was writing the episode, I really had to think I've always said that. I've always considered myself that, but I never really took the time to think about why that was so important to me. And that's something that I love about doing this podcast is it really forces me sometimes to do some self-reflection on why am I holding on to that so much? And part of it is what I mentioned in the episode in terms of, I never want my finances to be what hold me back from having to make a decision or being able to make a decision that's right for me. Like whether that be getting out of a relationship, whether it be moving, whatever the case is, I don't want finances to be the reason that I can't make a decision that's right for me. I don't want that to be a barrier. But I think another part of it that I did not talk about in the episode is that I had a really good role model for this. I grew up, I was born in the 80s, which at the time that was right when moms were starting to enter into the workforce more. And I lived in a dual income household where my mom and dad both worked full time. And my mom had a career. She was an interior designer. And then after that, when I went to college, she moved down to Florida and she actually started her own business, which was very successful. And, so for me, I grew up seeing this woman who made her own money, who could support herself, who had her own even social life, right? She had her own circle of friends. They had their shared couple friends, right? The neighbors and stuff like that. But she had her own set of friends as well and her own hobbies that my dad did not have, right? And her own things that made her happy. And so that's kind of the role model that I had growing up. And I always thought that if I'm in a relationship, it's really important to have your own identity. You're in a partnership, but you still have your own identity. And that's part of independence. It's being independent to have that separate things that make you happy. And that's okay. Right. And you want a partner that's going to support that. So independence to me is part of it is financial. Part of it is roles within relationships. Part of it is being able to really be happy on your own. Not saying you want to be on your own. I'm not saying that I don't want to be with my husband, but I think one of the things that gives us most confidence in our relationship is that either of us would be totally happy being by ourselves. We don't need the other person to be happy. And that we want the other person in our lives because they add something to our lives. And we wake up every day choosing to have that person in our lives. But we're not doing it out of necessity. We're doing it because we truly want them to be. And I think that's the power of independence is doing what's best for you, and not really having anything that's going to hold you back from that. So what are your thoughts? And what does independence mean to you? Would love to hear it.